For the past 10 years, it's more than fair to say that the Phoenix Suns have been one of the worst teams in the NBA. They've finished 15th place 4 times and have missed the playoffs every single season. It has really been a dark time for Suns fans, but this season could be very, very different. The team starts with Devin Booker, who was drafted back in 2015 and was quickly one of the best shooting guards in the league, but the team was still without any real success. And then in 2018 they drafted DeAndre Ayton with the first pick, which wasn't a bad choice, but they did let Luka Doncic go. But the player that's really going to turn this team around is Chris Paul. Although Chris Paul is now 35 years old, he's still a great point guard and can have a huge impact on a team. We saw this impact last season when he led the OKC to the 5th seed in the West, when most fans thought that they would miss the playoffs entirely. And Chris Paul has had this effect whenever he's been signed to a new team. When the Clippers signed him, they went from the 13th seed to the 5th seed and did better than this every single following year. They may have not had much playoff success, but Chris Paul undoubtedly made the team far, far better. Same with when he went to the Rockets, and had Chris Paul not got injured in their series against the Warriors, I think they'd have a ring right now in 2019. And then we're already seeing his impact this season, as the Suns have started 8-7 and are currently in a playoff spot. What has been great to see though is Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton work together in the pick and roll, because as good as Booker is, CP3 is definitely better at using Ayton to his advantage. With CP3 being one of the all-time great passers, there's a lot he can teach this younger team, and his veteran leadership as well I think will be very, very valuable to this team. And even just the mentality that he can pass on to the Suns team will be valuable for them. And then as well, Chris Paul has a lot of playoff experience, which for the rest of the team is few and far between. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Chris Paul, and he's going to make the Suns a lot better this year. Now let's talk about Devin Booker though, who's playing well so far this season, but doesn't seem to have improved much since last season. The Suns had a great time in the bubble and went 8-0, but was unfortunately still not enough for them to make it into the playoffs. Booker did average 30.5 points throughout the bubble and was the main driving force behind their success though. Now the only reason that Booker doesn't look as good on the stat sheet is because less plays are being ran through him, as they obviously have Chris Paul now. What must be strange though for Booker is not being the main guy on the team anymore, as for the past 4 seasons he hasn't had much help other than DeAndre Ayton. So taking this secondary role will certainly take some getting used to for Booker, but I'm sure he's very, very grateful for the help he's getting. And personally, I'm surprised he stayed in Phoenix this long waiting for some help and he's not demanded that he be traded to another team. As honestly at times I couldn't help but feel that Booker's just been wasting away in Phoenix. And as Booker has said for quite a few seasons now, he is sick of missing the playoffs, and this year his wish should finally come true. Now let's talk about DeAndre Ayton, who obviously has great potential just like Devin Booker. He had some injuries last year, so didn't play quite as much as he would have hoped, but he still has put up some good numbers. His 18.2 points a game was nice, but the stat that I really like is the 4 offensive rebounds a game he was averaging. He's not averaging quite as many offensive rebounds this season at 3.3 a game, but that's still good for him. And on every possession, I'd like to see Ayton crashing the offensive glass, as there's few centers in the league that can stop him. And then when Ayton and CP3 run the pick and roll more, their chemistry will improve and we should see them working really nicely together. And then another player that I like on the Suns is Mikal Bridges, and he's made a huge jump since last season. He's gone from 9 points a game to 15, and all of his shooting percentages have improved. He is averaging a steal a game less though, so I don't know what that's all about, but he's still made a lot of improvement. And his biggest improvement is his 3-point shot, going from 36% to 46% and shooting an extra 3 3-pointers a game. And if you've watched a few of my videos now, you'll know how much I love players who can shoot the free ball well. And if Bridges can keep this up and even keep improving, then he can be a great 3-point shooter for his career. And then they do also have Jay Crowder, Cameron Johnson and Dario Saric, who are all double-digit scorers, but they're nothing really more than role players. But anyway, it is great that they have 7 double-digit scorers on their team, as that is really valuable to have. And I've just realised I think I'm saying the word valuable a lot, but I can't really think of any other word that fits. So you just have to deal with that for now, but for my next video I'm going to try and think of some different words other than valuable to say. But anyway, now that I've covered all the important players, what are my predictions for the Suns this season? And from my personal experience, no other team has had such a wide range of predictions as the Phoenix Suns. And first of all, I'm going to say that I'm very confident that the Suns will make the playoffs. Chris Paul did it last season with a worse Thunder team, and now with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton as well, they should definitely make the playoffs. And even if they have to go through the play-in tournament to get into the playoffs, I'm still confident they'll make it in. With that being said though, I do think they could actually go as high as the 6th seed, but I think they'll likely go in at the 7th or 8th seed. And if you're unsure as to how the play-in tournament actually works, I'll just do a quick breakdown of it now. Essentially, the teams that finish the 7th and 8th seed will play a game, and then the winner of that game will go in as the 7th seed. And then the 9th and 10th seed will play a game, and the winner of that game will play the loser of the 7th and 8th seed game. And then whoever wins that game will go in as the 8th seed. So yeah, it's really not that complicated, so I hope I've made that quite clear. And this is a little bit off topic, but I really like this move by Adam Silver, and I think it'll be really fun to watch these playing games. And if you're wondering why these have been introduced, it's just because the schedule for this season is only 72 games long and not 82 games long. And it's basically just to try and make it a little bit fairer. So then if the Phoenix Suns do get into the playoffs, what damage can they do there? And if I'm honest, as much as I'd like to see them do some damage, I really don't think they will. If they manage to get into the second round, I think that's a great result for them, but I think they'll go out in the first round if I'm honest. But with that being said, even making the playoffs for the Suns is a great result, as obviously they've had a drought for the past 10 years of no playoff action. So yeah, there are my predictions for the Phoenix Suns this season, but I'd like to know what you think. And if you've made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching, and if you could like the video as well, that really does help me out. And if you've got any video ideas for me that you'd like me to do, just leave them down in the comments and I'll definitely go and have a look at them. And then as always, thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you on my next video.